45 minutes to an hour just to find them in like a 2-meter squared area. They're remarkable at hiding, and that is by far the #1 way that they stay safe in the wild. Most people think that it is their venom that's their #1 way of staying safe. But what's this venom actually for? The poison. What's it for?
I don't know, but does it still have its venom?
Yes, this snake still has its venom. It still has its fangs because... Oh, you have the answer to the question? Okay. Okay? No, you take a step back. Oh, you want to bring it back here. Just worried about getting a little closer, but you're very enthusiastic, so it's good to see you. So, Stuart here, his venom is actually a mousy tenderizer. It's not meant for you and I. It's a very precious resource. It's the only way that this snake knows how to eat. So it is not its #1 defense. Its #1 way of staying safe in the wild is simply playing hide and seek. And they are really, really good at it. Now the cool thing about these spots all down their back is that they are like human fingerprints. This is the only snake in Ontario, you can tell that this is Stuart just by looking at some of the funky shapes all down his back. So I will make sure that you all get a good close look at his spot. But every snake that I've caught in the wild, I've had to draw out every single spot down its back, and I can later on in future years tell that this is Stuart just by looking at the funky shapes. Yeah. It still has its rattle, which is the next part I was going to talk about. So not only does it have cool camouflage, seems to like you guys. Not only does it have cool camouflage to stay safe, but this snake is a true gentleman. It gets its name as a rattlesnake for a reason, and that is because it has a cool rattle at the end of its tail. Now this rattle, when a rattlesnake's first born, they're only about 7 inches long. Cute little fellas. And at that point, they actually don't have a little rattle. They've got a little tiny creamy colored button, and every time a rattlesnake sheds its skin, that's when it gets one new little piece added onto its rattle. So I've heard many people say that you can tell the age of a rattlesnake based on how many rattles it has. Stuff is our own fingernail. Just like you and I have had a broken nail, this snake can certainly have a broken tail. So that's the case with Stuart here. His rattle used to be about this long, and because he was shaking his bum a little too much, it banging it up against rocks and logs, finally it just broke off. So next time it sheds its skin, which will be pretty soon, it will get a new little piece added onto its rattle. You okay? So how can you tell that a rattlesnake is going to shed its skin? Anyone know? Yeah. The way it moves, sometimes it'll move up against rocks or logs. Yeah, often though it actually goes darker than lighter. So often you can see, well, you might not be able to see, but Stuart's tail is starting to get a little bit darker than the upper side of his body. So when a snake starts turning a very dark, dull color, and then their eyes will turn almost the color of your shirt. Maybe not as bright, but a kind of a pale blue, almost more like your shirt there, the blue on your shirt. So it turns a very pale blue color, and that means it's going to shed its skin pretty soon. So if you ever come across any type of snake with pale blue eyes, they are beautiful eyes, but be a little bit careful because the snake can't see at that point. They develop a fluid or kind of a watery stuff underneath that helps kind of builds up underneath their eyes. So just be a little bit careful. First time I was ever bitten by a snake was a garter snake with pale blue eyes. I thought it was just cool looking, but it was actually blind for a little bit because it was going to shed its skin. A garter snake, yeah, and they're usually pretty passive. Oh, they're gorgeous snakes. Nope, this is the only one that's poison, or venomous, to be precise. Yeah.